making it so that you need to drive up and down the field more than once. I do believe back in Farm Sim 17 also, if you were seeding, then it wouldn't plant seed where you've already seeded it unless you were using a direct drill, because the direct drill effectively did cultivate and then seed again, so it would rip up all the seeds that were in the ground and replant them. So for Farm Sim 17 I got away from using direct drills and just went straight with a seeder that you had to cultivate for first, but it saved. Should I do that bit? Let's do that bit. I'm not sure it'll count, but I'll put forward a little and there. Okay, good enough. But yeah, so I would, and back in those days you ploughed every third harvest and then cultivated every time you wanted to seed if you weren't using a direct drill. And I didn't want to use a direct drill because it ended up costing me more money in seed. Now that's not the case. I think from Farming Simulator, Farming Simulator 19, what happened was they basically altered the direct drills. A direct drill will rip up seed that you're not planting. So if you set it to plant grass and the last thing planted in the field was barley, it would rip up the barley and plant fresh grass. But if you were planting grass and you went back to fill in the gaps, it would not use seed on the bits of the field that already had the grass seed in it. So at that point it became efficient to, as good to just use a direct drill because it didn't waste seed. But one of the advantages was it would if you accidentally planted a field with something you didn't want, you could, and I did that a number of times. You drive out into the field, you think, I need to plant some wheat in this field. You plant a couple of rows and then you look at the thing on the right that tells you how much seed you've got in the tank, and you're planting soybeans. It's like, oh, nuts, okay. And all you had to do was select wheat and go back over the bits of the field you'd already done, and it would replace the soybeans with wheat and deduct seed from the tank for doing that, which was okay for people who make mistakes. That's kind of a good thing. I didn't do it often, but I did. There were every so often I'm talking away, I'm reading chat, and I look back and say, oh no. And it's usually because I'm planting all my fields at the same time. So, I like to, let's get all the fields cultivated. Okay, that's all done. Now let's load the seeder up with seed, and we'll go out, and I'm probably planting 4 or 5 crops. So I want these 2 fields as barley. We'll do those first. Then we'll go and do some wheat fields, and then we'll go and do soybean fields or whatever. And so I was planting fields as I went, and I would just forget to switch the seed when I went to a new field. Now when I was playing with the seed realism, whatever it was, that's the point where you can't do that. Because you had to load the seeder with what you wanted to seed. So I'd go to the yard, I'd put wheat seed into the seeder, and I'd go out and plant all the fields with wheat that I wanted. and then I'd go back, I'd unload the seeder, it would create pallets of wheat seed, and I would load it with barley, and then I would go round and plant all the fields I wanted with barley, and I'd run out of barley seed, so I have to buy some more. And you were specifically buying the seed for the crop you were planting, so less prone to error on that. Unfortunately, that mod was quite nice in 19 because it disabled the ability to tab the seed type for all of the seeders, even the mod seeders. So, and then it added, barley seed, wheat seed, grass seed, potato seed, seed potatoes, as specific types of seed, and modified all of the seeders to be able to take the seeds they were capable of planting. So you couldn't put potato seed into a seeder, but you could, the potato seeder was only capable of taking potato seed. The sugarcane seeder was only capable of taking sugarcane seed. But it was a nice mod. It enhanced realism, and it caused less errors planting fields of stuff you didn't actually want to plant. Now, with FarmSim 19, that's not the case. There is a mod that is similar to it, but the mod has to create mod versions of every single seeder in order for this functionality to work for it, which is a little unfortunate because I don't want to have, it means that the in-game seeders have all been modded by the modder to accept that, but you can't buy the in-game seeder, you have to buy his version of the in-game seeder. And all of the mod seeders don't work with it unless you've got the time and the patience and the knowledge to edit HTML files to make them work with this mod. I do kind of wish Giants would consider not giving us generic seed, but giving us specific seed pallets, so that we can then go out and buy the seed we actually want. That was kind of fun, having lots of stacks of pallets. The other thing the mod did was it allowed you to combine pallets of seed. So if you had 500 litres of barley seed left on a pallet, and you unloaded the seeder with another 200 litres, you'd get a second pallet with just 200 litres on it, but you could get a front loader, lift up the pallet of 200 litres of seed, hold it over the 500 litre pallet, and it would top it off to 700, and the 200 pallet would disappear, which was kind of nice. It also gave you the ability to unload potato planters, and you got pallets of potatoes or seed potatoes. You did not get pallets of potatoes you can sell for profit. That's part of the problem with potato planters. If you load them with seed, it converts them into potatoes, which is why the game does not allow you to empty a potato planter. Now, the upshot of that is you could do a contract for seeding, and at the end of the contract you could unload the seeder and keep the seeds for yourself. Now, it may be if you did a contract to plant potatoes, you weren't planning to plant any potatoes, so you would just end up with a pallet of potatoes. But you would end up with a pallet of potatoes rather than losing all the potatoes that you'd put into the potato planter. And I did like that. That was cool. I think you could combine other things like pallets of fertilizer and all the things, so you didn't end up with dozens of partial pallets of things. You could just combine them into the most efficient number of pallets. Still didn't stop the fact that I had pallets of everything. I think I was planting everything for Oakfield Farm. We planted everything except sugar cane, because that's not a thing in the UK. But I had spare pallets of barley, wheat, corn, all of it. And you could never do a contract for something and end up with no litres of seed at the end of it. You could never plant a field and end up with no litres of seed at the end of it. So, you end up saving some of the seed for next year's planting season, because, well, I planted all the fields I want with barley now, and next year I am going to be planting some other fields with barley. So the 300 litres of barley I have left over from planting this year is 300 litres of barley I don't have to buy next year to plant the crop next year. But you with generic seed, you end up with a partial pallet of seed on the farm, and that's capital tied up. Money you could spend on something else, but you can't because it's seed. With specific seed for each crop, you end up with far more money tied up in your seed stocks, because you have a partial of everything you plant. Even with grass, I mean, I would plant grass, I'd do contracts to plant grass, but once I had a grass field, I wouldn't be ploughing it up, I wouldn't be doing anything. But I did end up with an awful lot of... okay, where do we go? Back to the farm. I would end up with pallets of grass just sitting around on the farm for years, because I'm not planting any new grass fields. If I bought a field that had grass in that I wanted grass to remain in, I would probably plough it and replant it. And then I would need grass seed. But it wasn't a crop I'm planting every year, so grass seed tended to sit around for a long time, unless a contract came up. I do remember on Oakfield Farm there was a castle on the northwest side corner of the map, and the farmer there wanted grass planted every single year. Go out, plough up the field. Okay, fine. You do that contract. Okay, now cultivate the field. Okay, I'll do that contract. Okay, now plant it with grass again. It already was grass, dude. What are you playing at? Yeah. Okay, so I need some lime. I hope I've got some, having driven all the way back to here. Oh yeah, we got 6,000 litres. Well, that's a load. I'm not sure I'm going to have enough lime to do a contract with. That much, I'm fairly certain. But this may be enough. Unfortunately, it would be nice to do a couple of contracts of lime, because then we get paid. And I could really do with getting paid. There wasn't a seeding contract, but seeding doesn't happen till September, and that's when we're going to be seeding our fields. There were baling contracts. They were a little bit out of the area. Ooh. I think there'll be a baling contracts in the 4 local fields in September. Come September, we're going to be, the grass will germinate, so I'm going to be spraying the grass fields. The fields we're liming will be able to seed with barley. Might need some more barley. And and we'll be able to sell the silage for lots of money. And I may do. We'll see how much those 4 grass fields are costing next month, and if they're still plus 50%, we'll skip buying them again, and I will probably do a little bit more work. In the yard. So we'll sell the silage, we'll buy some close-end bunkers for that area. We'll sell the ones we already have, and maybe buy a shed. Oh, come on. So that'll be a bit of fun, but that probably at the end of the month, because obviously I'm not going to be able to sell any silage until I think after lunch on September 1, and then I won't be able to that'll give us our grass silage, I think, was 200,000 litres, so it's not a big amount of money. I think that's about 40,000-50,000 that we'll get from selling that. And then later on we'll have the 2 million litres of maize silage available to sell, and that will happen September 2 in the morning. No, September. It's already August 3. Yeah, September 2 and September 3. That second closed clamp won't be available to sell until September 3, because we didn't finish that until quite late yesterday. Okay, let's have a look at the lime contracts. Might be worth just doing something with this. 33 and 51. Where is 33? Where is 51? I should put details on, then I'd be able to see. 33's there. It's directly over the road from there. So that would probably be a good thing to do. If we do that one, if we run out, we can come back to the store and refill. If we don't run out, then we can just return the spreader. 51 is down here, where it's kind of way too far out. For if we end up make sure that happened. We'll turn the details on. So yeah, it's not convenient to refill the lime spreader if we run out. So, and this field actually wasn't that bad. Looking at the patches where we just didn't put lime down, that means that the pH in those sections of the field were perfect or over limed. But that's good. I'm going to get back in the cab. We'll drive in the cab. So I might look at, we could look at harvesting, doing a harvest contract. That would make me a little bit of money. It's 10 o'clock now. I tell you what, with the cortisol injection just not working that well. I was told by one of my therapists that, you know, you can get maybe 3 weeks all the way up to 3 months, and it's really random what ends up happening. I got 3 weeks. I can't have another one for another 2 months because you can't be injecting yourself with this stuff that frequently. So yeah, I have to put up with pain for 2.5 months now. Oh, dude. But yeah, that's it. But oh my goodness, it is so painful. And it's really difficult in the morning, especially on a Saturday. Nobody else gets up, so I have to walk around the house making myself breakfast until, which isn't the most comfortable thing to do. Okay, here we are, Born to be Kings. We're the princes of the universe. Field 33 should be right down here. Yep. Okay, let's see how much we can get this now. We've got 33% of a tank here. We have... yeah, it's kind of nice getting to use this tractor. Good little tractor, I think. But I really haven't had much chance to drive around it because it's kind of a utility thing. I can stick it on tasks around the farm with a worker, so I don't generally get to drive it. But I did put GPS on it just in case I got to drive it sometimes. But I'm tending to drive the Zerion for karting most of the time, which is, I am not complaining about that. That's a nice mod. I do like Smetty's stuff, so we tend to include some of his tractors on the farm. I wouldn't mind having the Fendt 900 Favorite, which is one of his, but it is a rather pricey tractor for 250 horsepower, 260-ish. So it's not really a... if you were playing sort of, what would it be, classic farming simulator with older vehicles, then yes, it's a very high horsepower, very heavy tractor, and it takes a front loader, so you can lift some serious weight on the front of that thing. But for a modern day farm, 250 horsepower for the price of a tractor, you could get a tractor with 400 horsepower. It's really not a cost-effective tractor, all things considered. Okay, we got 2,000 done. I still haven't noticed how much of the contract. Oh, there we go. 66% done. 33%. Potentially, I could finish this. We started the field with 33% of the tank full. We've done 2/3 of it on 2/3 of that 33%. I could be really unlucky and need another 5 litres of lime to finish this field, which would be unfortunate. We're on 11 now. Okay, I'm back again. Looks like Mrs. Osa's PC did a Windows update last night. and left itself shut down. And we are... Oh, come on, done, yes. See if I can throw out the last... See, it looks like it's spreading things. It's stuck at 85 litres. There we go. A little bit more. Maybe that corner. How about that? 14 litres. Come on. Swing it in there. And 3, 2, 1. Boom. Done. We can fold that up and return it empty. And since I'm so far from the yard, I will have to let them clean it. But we do get paid, so let's do that. Collect 4,600 and whatever it was. And the thing, what we'd already paid for the lime, so in fact we used some of our spare lime, so that's money income for us. Woo! Stop, stop, stop. Come on, cross the road. Thank you, bye. Oh, traffic. Oh, traffic. What'd you do that for? Yay. Okay, we'll drive behind the pedestrian. And I guess we will fix the tractor. Weight's fine. Tractor. No. And we will return the bridle. So, want a bridle sometime, but don't have the money for that right now. We now have 30,000 money left. What else did I have to do today? And again, with the people and the walking. There are harvests that could be done. I could do that one. Where's 53? Oh, 53's at the bottom. And the cereal... Actually, if I remember rightly, the cereal factory is one of these two. Yes, and 53 is this one. That could be a really good contract. 52 also looks like it's nice. 55 and 85 is big. Okay, let's take a look at 53, 52, 51 and 85. Maybe 55. So 53, 52 is going to the grain mill. That's the other side of the map. 55 is also going to the grain mill,